breaking news once again coming in from the United Kingdom. Nirav Modi's bail has been rejected. Remember, the hearing was underway. We had seen a short adjournment. But there you go. The United Kingdom court has denied bail to Nirav Modi. Even the last time round, when Nirav Modi had moved court shortly after his arrest, he was not given bail as the court believed that he was at flight risk. The U.K. court once again denying Nirav Modi, key accused in the $2 billion fraud at Punjab National Bank, bail. We've been speaking to a whole host of legal experts, and I'm sure the producers of India Tonight, as we speak, are working the phones to touch base with legal luminaries, experts on extradition. The government, on its part, has been indicating that perhaps Nirav Modi would be extradited and brought to India even before Vijay Mallya. Remember, that's the other big extradition case which has been underway in the UK. Can we go? Let me go across to Utkarsh Chaturvedi. He's joining us. Utkarsh, you've been tracking
the entire case completely into criminal behavior and criminal conduct domain from a white-collar crime, and a result of that, it seems that the Judge Emma is completely satisfied with the arguments. Look here, this is not a bail decline for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for 6 weeks now. Nirav Modi will have to be behind the bars. So for next 1.5 months, the man is not going to come out. The judge has asked for proper pagination and indexing. She's a very particular lady. This happened in case of Mr. Mallya also. But the crucial and critical point is that the entire evidence gathered by the Indian law enforcement agencies, at least at this juncture in this case, stands vindicated. On each count, the judge has found that the prosecution is in the right, and despite substantial concessions from the defense, like Ms. Claire Montgomery agreeing to 24/7 electronic surveillance of our client, the judge has still declined to give him bail. So I would say this is from the prosecution's point of view. I have not come to the adjudication bit, Rahul. From the prosecution's point of view, it's a substantial, big win. John, what do you think? What do you think what has happened here?
I think this is absolutely astounding development. We arrived here this morning, as you say, expecting a fairly dry, white-collar business-style bail application, and we were swiftly plunged into something that deserves in the pages of a Hollywood film. Death threats, murder threats, witness accusations of witness tampering, witness manipulation, destruction of evidence. If any or all of this is true, it's astounding alleged criminal behavior, isn't it? And despite Claire Montgomery's efforts to row this back, offering £2 million worth of bail surety, offering to wear an electronic tag 24 hours a day, she's having none of it at all. She clearly considers him to be a very dangerous man, and that's why he's going back to prison.
Absolutely, and Rahul, this is unprecedented, unparalleled by the standards of, unprecedented from the from the precedent of the Western jurisprudence also. Remember, the defense began by saying, like in Supreme Court of India, that bail and not the jail is norm.
Okay, so that's the live report that has come in for you from England. Remember, the courts were told that there have been death threats that have been given as far as this goes. I believe we are getting some experts to talk about this. Sharveer Singh joining us on the phone line. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening. Once again, the court in UK denying Nirav Modi bail. He's been posed a significant flight risk. There have been talks about how death threats have been issued to witnesses related to this $2 billion fraud. Would you say this is, of course, a long expected line? But more importantly, Sharveer, what we're trying to understand is, and we've been talking about this, that in all likelihood, Nirav Modi will be seen in India even before Vijay Mallya.
Well, I think there are two parts to this. First and foremost, specifically pertaining to the bail. I think this is a significant victory for the Crown Prosecution Service, which of course is guided by the Indian authorities in this regard, in terms of granting of bail. And I believe the new materials that were placed by the Indian authorities on record before the judge as part of the hearing today, which pertained to destruction of evidence, murder threats, etc., would have weighed on the judge's mind, because giving a $2 million bail bond is a significant amount of money, and this comes across as unprecedented, to be honest. But in terms of, I think we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. Bail is just the first step. Nirav Modi would, of course, have the right to appeal this, and an appeal court could reverse this decision altogether. That's the first part. Secondly, he still has to go through an entire extradition trial. The bail is not going to accelerate the trial. Denial of bail is not going to accelerate the trial process. Similar to the timing we saw in Vijay Mallya's case, and of course, given the vagaries of each and every case depend on the facts and how much evidence comes on record. But I think we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves that Nirav Modi may end up here before Vijay Mallya, because he goes through the extradition trial. And just like Mr. Mallya, Nirav Modi would again have the right to appeal, would have a right to appeal thereafter. So I don't think from a timing perspective we'd be that optimistic, but I definitely would say that this is a good feather in the cap of Indian law enforcement and the Crown Prosecution Service.
We'll be having Utka Chaturvedi also joining us to talk more about this. He's, of course, been tracking this case. Look at the observations that are coming in from the judge in the United Kingdom, Utkarsh. Fairly major inconsistencies in the witnesses' statements. Don't think conditional bail is going to suffice. At flight risk, there's talk about death threats that have been given, and the judge being convinced that there has been some kind of witness tampering.
Exactly, Nandara. In fact, we are getting all the details inside the courtroom. Now, what the Nirav Modi lawyer had to say here is that he has been in UK since January 2018. He has not travelled since then, since his passport has been cancelled. It was the Nirav Modi lawyer which went ahead and said that I am proposing to a subject to residence with electronic monitoring. So Nirav Modi's lawyers went ahead and proposed the Nirav Modi to stay in their residence with electronic monitoring, but the court, as you said, did really not accept that fact and has sent him back to jail. Also, the observations about the death threats. We have the detail of the death threats as well. And now Ashish Lad, whose evidence have been provided by the agencies, has said that in Dubai, while he was going to Cairo, is when Nirav Modi told him that I will fix you in a wrong case, and that is where the death threat comes in. And remember that the Enforcement Directorate had flown in with all the documents. The CBI team had flown in with all the documents. Especially if you look at the Enforcement Directorate, you will realize that Satyabrat Kumar, the Joint Director who flew from Bombay, is the same person who was handling the Vijay Mallya case as well. So clearly, one, they have had the experience of dealing with the Westminster Court, and secondly, if you look at the cases in itself as well, and that's what the observation of judge as well, that vis-a-vis Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi is a substantial amount of fraud, and in a prima facie, when Vijay Mallya looked like a business failure, Nirav Modi had nothing to do really with the functioning of his companies and everything else, and that is what the ED have been telling us. In fact, Satyabrat Kumar, before going to London, had spoken to us and said that we are confident that we will be winning this, and we'll be getting Vijay Mallya, we'll be getting Nirav Modi much sooner than Vijay Mallya. But it's still early days. The bail has been denied, but the merits of the case will still run as their course, and everything which Vijay Mallya is going through, he will also go through. So it's still time for really say that Nirav Modi is coming back, but big development when it comes to the case.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for that update. I'm going to go back to Sharbir Singh Panag. Sharbir, Nantara here again. We're getting updates. The next date of the hearing is going to be on 26th of April. That means Nirav Modi is going to be in jail till 26th of April. Tell me a bit, can he appeal before that, try to get another bail hearing expedited? His attorney in the court has said conditions that defense suggests for bail is house and electronic monitoring that are more stringent than usual, including all-day electronic tag monitoring and reporting to local police station. Give him a special phone that could be accessed by authorities. I would imagine that all of this has not cut it with the judge, with the court, and they still feel and are convinced that Nirav Modi could escape. So even stringent electronic monitoring has been rejected. So is it a given he's going to be in jail till 26 April and come what may?
I'd have to go through the bail order to be precise to see what has been listed as the matter of for the 26th. But my sense would be that he should be he'd have a right to take it to a higher court, which of course both the CPS as well as the Enforcement Directorate will challenge as well. But coming back to the previous point that you made pertaining to whether all of this ties into a flight risk. Not all these points would tie into a flight risk. Some of these, a key element of trial is also to ensure that evidence is in no manner destroyed. So I don't think the consideration with the judge would simply be that there's a flight risk involved, but rather a much larger issue of if witnesses are being threatened and evidence is being destroyed, or there's a potential for evidence to be destroyed, that could weigh equally heavily, and hence the argument of wearing a tracker or being restricted to your house or using a particular phone, etc., would have not cut their teeth with the judge.
Okay. I want to also understand from you, because, you're the expert over here and the legal expert that we have here. In the United Kingdom, if you are able to prove witness tampering, if you're able to successfully prove that there have been death threats given, what is it tantamount to? Or is that going to have to finally be dealt with in India if and when Nirav Modi is extradited?
Well, it depends where. A lot of it's going to depend upon whether independent charges are going to be brought about regarding whether the death threats were intended to be, taken out in the United Kingdom. The concerned person, on the other concerned witness, is willing to rally in the UK, or is willing to bring proceedings in India. If he brings proceedings in India, it falls back to the realm of extradition. But I think the broader point to really consider is that all these factors are going to positively help the extradition trial process in the favor of the prosecution. Of course, a trial can always go both ways, but from what's just emerging, the initial pieces of news, and like I said, I haven't read the order; it's too fresh. I would think that these are going to help the prosecution's case. But once again, I heard one of our co-panelists mention that the ED feels that he'll come back before Vijay Mallya. I think that's just procedurally not possible at this point of time. There's still a trial to go through. The UK courts are not going to say that, okay, just because we've got an allegation of witness tampering, because of which a bail being denied, we're going to dispense with an extradition trial. That's not going to happen. He still has to go through an extradition trial. He still has all the appeals available to him. And if Vijay Mallya is within statutory periods of appeal, then so is Nirav Modi going to be. So I don't know where this point is coming out that we're going to get him sooner than Vijay Mallya.
Shabbir, I'm going to ask you to hang on. I'm going to now go across to the former CBI Director, AP Singh. He's also joining us on the phone for this breaking news. The UK court, for the second time round, denying bail to Nirav Modi. Mr. Singh, he will be in jail, and we've been told the next date of hearing is on April 26th. There have been talks today in court about how witnesses have been issued death threat. There's been witness tampering, an observation being made by the court that there's some proof as far as that interference with the witnesses have taken place. There has been an observation that has been made by the court. Nirav Modi's lawyers argued for electronic surveillance. They tried to make a case for that. All of that being unsuccessful with the UK court. Mr. Singh, I want to understand from you, and I was just questioning this to Shabbir Singh as well. He's a lawyer that we have on the panel. What next? It's looking like, at least from the information we're getting now, that Nirav Modi is going to be in jail till April 26. Obviously, the investigative agencies have been able to prove their case. What kind of a timeline should one look at when it comes to extraditing Nirav Modi and him being back in India for a $2 billion fraud?
Well, so far, the timelines, in all extradition cases, I mean, we haven't had an extradition back from the UK in the last 23 years. And there was only one case in which the person himself did not fight the extradition. He was willing to be extradited. That is the only case where a person has come back. So it's very difficult to give a timeline. So far, we've not had any success. But obviously, the Indian agencies have done a good job. And they've been able to convince the court to keep Mr. Modi in custody. That itself is a big thing. Because as far as my knowledge goes, I don't think that bail has been refused so far to any of the people that we wanted extradited. So I think that's a big success. And as these high-profile extraditions are taking place, I think we are getting more, we are getting better at it, and we are getting more expertise, and therefore the success rate is higher.
Yeah. Yes, the success rate certainly has been improving. There's, of course, the Fugitive Economic Offenders Bill as well that was approved by the Indian government, which, you know, we are seeing how assets of Nirav Modi in India are being seized and auctioned. There's also talk about his foreign assets could soon be seized. Having said that, and before I hand over to my colleague Utkarsh Chaturvedi, Mr. Singh, I also want to tell you that the lawyer that we have on the panel, Shaibi Singh Panagi, is convinced that Nirav Modi cannot be extradited before Vijay Mallya, even if there's more damaging proof against Nirav Modi, simply given the UK courts and their legal system. I wanted to get your comment on that, Mr. Singh. And, you know, as a former CBI director, if today in a UK court you're hearing about Nirav Modi issuing death threats to witnesses, tampering with witnesses, is that something the Indian investigative agencies would go into more? Is that something else that could be brought out against Nirav Modi? You know, forget $2 billion fraud. You're also talking about death threats now. It's getting murkier.
Well, since I don't know the facts of the case, I would not be able to comment on this. But I can definitely say that it's a big success to keep him in jail. That itself is a big success. And as your lawyer on the panel has pointed out, that the due process will have to be followed. There are no shortcuts. But the fact that they've kept him in custody is something new and different from what has normally been happening in earlier extradition cases.
Shaibi, just wanted to understand from you when you speak of the merits of the case. Now, the last time when the bail plea was rejected, you were being told that the grounds of the bail plea being rejected is different from the merits of the case. Now, do you think that it has now happened in a consecutive manner? It's twice that his bail has been rejected. Do you think that will also impact the merits of the case once the hearing starts?
There are two elements to it. There's a theoretical element and then there's the practical element. The practical element is, of course, where the merits get drawn in and the merits constantly get rehashed in court. There's some kind of a positive preponderance. That's the practical side of it. But theoretically speaking, a decision to give bail is intertwined with merits, but isn't entirely based on merits. It's based on other factors. It's based on destruction of evidence. Is there more chances of criminal misconduct occurring? Is there a flight risk? Is the person likely to evade jurisdiction? Those are the grounds here. It's not going to really get into whether it's 2 billion or it could be 4 billion. Somebody could still get bail because, in an adversarial system and a criminal justice system, you are innocent unless proven guilty. But I just want to quickly come back to Mr. Singh's point. I think it's very important to understand that in almost all previous extradition cases that we've brought and other countries have brought in the United Kingdom, typically an arrest would not happen in the form that it happened in this particular case with uniformed policemen showing up at a bank. It's typically a formal arrest by appointment. And subsequently, it's more of a formality as opposed to the protracted manner in which the bail proceedings have occurred in Nirav Modi's case.
Okay, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here with this breaking news update. Nirav Modi's bail being rejected the second time round. The next hearing is on 26th of April. Even as Nirav Modi is in jail in the United Kingdom, his assets in India, paintings, cars, all of that being auctioned. What was heartening the first time around the hearing was to do, and also a cascading impact of the Vijay Mallya case, is how foreign assets may soon be seized by the Indian government and auctioned. Nirav Modi unable to make a case for getting bail. His lawyers made a case for electronic surveillance as well, being rejected by the court. Today's case startling revelations about witness tampering, death threats that have been issued by Nirav Modi as well.